Boris blasted by Falklands governor over ridiculous language in Christmas speech about table tennis. In his annual Christmas message to the British Overseas Territory, released on December 23, the Prime Minister reaffirmed the UK's commitment to the Falklands and its people. He praised the islands for its successful COVID vaccine rollout, which he said suggested 2022 would be a more normal year than the last. Attempting a little joviality around Christmas, Mr. Johnson also congratulated the Falklands for gaining recognition on the table tennis front. He said, 2021 was the year that even the International Table Tennis Federation, ITTF, recognized, in the face of vociferous protests from some, the inviolable sovereignty of Falkland table tennis players. The ITTF officially recognized the Falklands as a full member in November, despite opposition from Argentina. Mr. Johnson's comments suggested the Falklands had won on the diplomatic front, in a blog to Argentina. This touched a nerve in the Argentinian government, which responded with an attack. Secretary for the Falklands Guillermo Carmona, quoted in Infobi, said, "In international organizations, British colonialism always loses by a landslide." He highlighted that the ITTF is made up of more than 220 associations from around the globe. This, he said, is greater than the number of recognized states in the world. Mr. Johnson's comment was more akin to militaristic rhetoric than a light-hearted remark, according to the secretary. He said, "When reasons are lacking, militaristic rhetoric appears. Boasting about a military victory that international law does not recognize as a title of sovereignty only reopens the wounds of war." He added that this ignores 38 years of Argentinian democracy. Tierra del Fuego Governor Gustavo Malella was even more harsh about what he called Mr. Johnson's desperate rhetoric. He said, "This communication is clearly part of Britain's desperation to prop up its decadent empire." He added that the Prime Minister's comments were disrespectful of international law and in denial of dozens of UN resolutions that call for an end to colonialism in the world. Regardless of these comments, Mr. Johnson said the UK's commitment to the Falklands would not wane. In his Christmas message to the islanders, Johnson assured that one thing that remains absolutely unchanged is the United Kingdom's commitment to the Falkland Islands and its people. It is as firm a commitment as it was when General Moore accepted General Menendez's surrender. "And I can promise you now that this will not change," he added. Johnson also recalled that even the International Table Tennis Federation recognized, in the face of noisy protests from some sectors, the inviolable sovereignty of table tennis players of the Falklands. Following those statements, Argentina's Malvinas Secretary Guillermo Carmona replied that appealing to military arguments is something unnecessary. Carmona added that when reason is lacking, militarist rhetoric appears. He also regretted Johnson's speech would seem to ignore 38 years of Argentine democracy. The official also said he was confident Argentina would regain sovereignty over the islands by appealing to the reasons given to us by international law and the exercise of diplomacy. Meanwhile, Tierra del Fuego Governor Gustavo Malella said Johnson's comments were a violation of international law and of dozens of United Nations resolutions which demand the end of colonialism in the world. At the same time, Argentina's foreign ministry has insisted yet again over the weekend that everything was ready to offer humanitarian flights to Chilean citizens residing in the Falkland Islands and who have been stranded there, unable to return to their country, since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic due to the cancellation of regular air services between the islands and the South American mainland. The Foreign Ministry said it had acknowledged the British government's point that most people were from Chile, which is why the new offer involves flights that would depart from Argentina to pick up the Chilean nationals and bring them straight to Punta Arenas or any other Chilean airport to attend to personal, health or family matters. The Argentine Foreign Ministry insisted that neither the cause of the isolation suffered by the residents of Malvinas nor any negative can be attributed to the Argentine Republic, given the gesture of goodwill that our government has expressed and reiterated.